Viewers and subs, welcome back to class. In today's video, we're going to be fixing some UV damage, or so I thought. When you see paint cracking like this and in such bad condition, it could just be the sun or it could be some underlying issues. Now, when I looked at the rest of the tailgate, I'm seeing the same signs that I see on the top, which led me to believe there was some improper application or how they prepped this to get it painted, or there was just no consistency in their paint or primer mix. Now, to fix this, you will have to strip it completely. There is no other way to get this done properly except stripping everything and start over from scratch. One thing about this specific tailgate on this RDX, the whole thing is one. And when you look here on the plastic itself, which is not raw plastic, I can still see some cracks in there. So you have to pay attention to what you're doing and make sure you get rid of it completely. Now, this is a lot easier to fix than rust, because sometimes even when you get the surface rust off completely and you use all the chemicals you want to use, if that rust goes deeper than the surface, you would have to cut it out completely and replace it with a new panel. Otherwise, that rust is just gonna keep popping back up like an annoying itch. Once you're done with the DA sanding, you're gonna have to do some hand sanding, because you cannot forget the edges. This spot is just as important. You don't want any of that old paint lingering once you're done. And it's really this simple, guys. All you have to do, get rid of the cancer, right? And then start over. Refine it all the way up to 400. Reason being is because this is raw plastic. Once you take off the paint, you're going down to raw plastic. Now, my helper here is laying down 2 coats of the Lessenol primer. This is a high build primer, and we want to get some body on there so that we can sand it without getting a lot of burn throughs. Now, the next day we left it overnight, it dried, and it's looking really good. Now it's time to sand it down. What I'm going to be using to help me is guide code. You can't go wrong with guide code. Guide code helps you to see better, and if there's any imperfection, once you sand, you will see it and then you can just clean it up. Not sure what happened over here. It seems like something touched it right there. So we're gonna sand it down and see what happens. I am using 500 grit to sand down the primer, after which I will refine all the way up to 800. Now, in general, guys, this is what you're looking for. You see most of the guide coat is gone, the area looks smooth, but then when you clean it up and take a deeper look, you can see a bit of a grain there. If you look really good, you can see some grainy spots. You have to sand it out completely. Sometimes it might just get covered by paint and you get lucky, but then sometimes it might show up like tiny pinholes. So the best thing to do, if you see something before you paint, I recommend that you fix it. Moving on to the next stage of the job. Now, you see how much work you had to do just to get to this stage. You had to fix, you have to clean up, you have to prep the primer, clean it up again, mask it, clean it again, and then tack it to make sure it's free from any lint. Painting is just 5% of the job, but if the foundation is not right, then your paint job won't come out looking how you want it to look in the end. Once your sealer is dull looking like this, which means it's flashed out, then you can start to paint, unless you're using a wet on wet kind of sealer. I will be using the same gun throughout this entire process. This is the Master Pro 88 series. I have a 1.3 tip inside, wide open fan, and full fluid. This is about $240 if you're trying to buy it with all the different tips and needles. If you want the gun by itself, which comes with a 1.3, it's about $140. I'll have Links in the description if you are interested. This is a very good budget paint gun. After 2 coats of the Sickens brand paint, we're looking really good. I use my sun gun to check to see if I have proper coverage. Only in the sun you can really see how beautiful this color is. Now after I check it, make sure it's good, start the clear coat using the same gun, 27 psi, a 1.3 tip. The clear coat I'm using is the UTech 4.0 clear coat. And there you have it, guys. I laid down 2 wet coats of clear coat here, guys. I don't get stingy on the roof because the sun's gonna beat it up there. And after all that hard work, you can see that we got a beautiful result. So that's just life in general, guys. When you put in the time, you put in the work into something, whatever it is that you're doing, you're gonna get good results. Beautiful off the gun finish here from the 88 series. And that's it for today's video, guys. I thank you all for your support. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, class dismissed.